good evening, and welcome to another video on my Instagram page. And to see the full video, of course, come over to my YouTube channel. Um, this week's topic is one that is going to take me out of my comfort zone a bit because it's a very sensitive topic. And as I indicated in my introduction video, that because I know it's Mental Health Awareness Month and a lot of persons are sharing, tips and, activities that you can do to ensure that your mental activity or your mental health, I should say, is in check. I have decided to share with you my experience in having my mental health totally disturbed. And yes, I would say I died mentally, but God. So, this video may be a trigger for some persons. So, I would say that if you are not in the best state right now, if you are not in the best position right now mentally, I would say pause this video and wait until you are ready. So, let's go. So it all started in 2012. And for those of you who want to know a little bit more about me, go back and watch my first video. But I will, share a little bit more information just to put things in perspective. So in January 2012, this was the year I started a new position. I got promoted at a audit firm, one of the prominent audit firm in Jamaica, and I would say it's the best. Yeah, I would say it's the best audit firm. I no longer work there for other reasons, but I would say it's the best audit firm in terms of getting experience. But yes, I just got promoted, and I am a almost a perfectionist. I like to do my best in everything that I am asked to do. Whichever role that I'm going to play, like I'm very hard on myself. So I I just go all out. So this role actually came with more responsibilities, had me leading teams, had me motivating teams, also had me being responsible for multiple clients. And because of that, it would require more effort and more time. I had a great mentor, by the way. I can't say her name because I did not inform her of this video, but to give a hint, I will say that she had a lot of wisdom. And because she had invested so much in me, training me, I felt like even if I wasn't working with her directly, I had to make sure that any performance feedback that I received would have been good enough so that she would be pleased with it. Now, the year saw me starting out, already tired. To be honest, I had to go back to my Facebook account and check the posts. I don't keep a journal. I had a bad experience when I was a teenager with a diary, and I decided that I would not keep a diary anymore. So there are things that I'll share on my social media accounts, things that I know that I'm okay with putting out there in the public. And I noticed that almost all of my posts I had thought talking about me having lunch way after 2 o'clock in the day, dealing with more than two clients for the day. There was one that got me where I said I am about to leave a body part at work because I was just so exhausted. And even though I was exhausted, I kept putting out. There were times when I was going to bed late, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and I was still going and I was still functioning at my other roles. So a little fact about me is that I would have recently got married, recently celebrated 1 year of marriage in 2011. So I'm now going into my second year of marriage. And I realized I did a lot of cooking back then because my husband, at that time, he was not in the public sector. He was an engineer at that time, so I would get home before him, and I noticed that I would praise myself for preparing the meals and just going all out for him. And newly married, weren't spending money on hiring somebody to clean, so I was doing the cleaning, I was doing the ironing, the washing, I was doing everything by myself. So 2012 saw me basically being the best at everything. So continuing the year, I realized that most of my posts, because to be honest, that year is such a very traumatic year that a lot of things I don't remember, and I think some of the medication that I was given sort of foggy a lot of the days. I don't remember in details like things happening before the mental breakdown. So in around that time, about like maybe about March thereabout, one of my friends, he got really ill. He got cancer in the liver that spread to the rest of his body, and he basically died. And I remember feeling like a piece of me left, but I, from a very young age, there's another experience that I'll share in another story time about why I do not focus on my emotions. um, I just dug deeper in work instead of dealing with the negative emotion that came with his death. I just dug deeper in work. Another friend died after, and there were some other persons that I was acquainted with that died. But the death that shook me really deep was Karen Brown's death. We were not close. She was like a sister to my husband, but we had a good rapport. Whenever we meet up, we'd have a good rapport. And I even remember us even talking about death and how we'd want to look in the casket. And, like I was that comfortable with death. Like we weren't scared about it. And I remember she had gotten ill. But the funny thing about it was that the day that she died, the night before, I was actually working. And the following day, we had a company outing. So every year in June, they would um, they would basically have a day out where everyone would just go for a day. And I think they were going Jules that year. The year before, we had gone to um, I don't remember where we had gone to, but we had gone to somewhere the year before. Laughing Waters, right? So for this particular time, we were going to Jules. But the night before, I felt really bad, like there was something bad going to happen, that gut feeling. And I remember saying it to Darren, and he said, if you don't feel like going, you don't have to go. And I decided that I wasn't going to go. So I didn't go. But the following morning, when we woke up, we got a call that she had passed. And he said he was going to the hospital to be with his parents. And I said to him, I said, okay, I'm going to come. When I went, you know, his mom was crying, her mom was there, she had tears in her eyes. And his dad said, oh, you want to see her? And I was like, okay, that's fine, because I'm comfortable with looking at the deceased. But when I saw her, it was like something moved within me. Something moved within me. And even talking about it now, I actually feel my chest tightening. Yeah. Um, but fast forward, went to church the Friday night, and I remember they were talking about it, and I started feeling ill, like sick in my stomach, and then my knees felt weak, and my husband and I were driving home, and I said to him, um, I don't. I think we had his father's car, and I said to him, I don't know why I feel like this, but I don't feel well. And he said, let's go home, get some rest and stuff. Got home, took the rest, and I woke up the next day, went to church. But when I was going home, because I think I had choir practice and I'm pretty much active in church, I told him I wasn't feeling well, and I didn't feel like I wanted to sleep, but I want to sleep. I had some sleeping pills that I had gotten from my doctor because I did trouble with insomnia, and there were times before when I would be asleep and I'd wake up gasping for air, heart racing, and felt as if I was going to die. But even then, I was never scared about it. I usually, like my husband say, "You want to go to the hospital?" And I'd be like, "No, I'm going back to bed." Like that. That was the type of person I was at that time. And I remember taking a sleeping pill the night, and I went to bed. And about 2 o'clock in the morning, I woke up feeling like, oh, really horrible. And I went to the bathroom and I started vomiting and vomiting, vomiting. And that's when my husband said, "No, we're going to the hospital." So we got to the hospital. We got to the hospital, and my blood pressure was high. Um, but let me backtrack a bit. Just to let you know that I saw the signs before. There were some yellow signals. I call them amber alerts that went off before, because as I mentioned, there were panic attacks or anxiety attacks that I had while I was asleep. I remember when I would do my checkup at my doctor, my blood pressure would be slightly elevated, like 130 over 90 or 130 over 88. And he gave me some water pills, and my husband said you just need to rest and stuff like that. Um, and it would have been consistent for a while, and I would talk to my mentor at the time, and she'd say, "Boy, this is a fast pacing job. So if it is that you want to, find something else, but you maybe won't find something that is good paying." Mind you, that still wasn't good paying at the time. But I know she wanted me to stay, but she was also giving me the option, but still telling me to stay. And she was giving me sharing some tips like, oh, listen to music and exercise, rest, and relax and stuff like that. I did that, but that just got me more focused. Like it just helped me to be more of a workaholic. It reached to the point where I was working like almost every day, even on Saturdays, Saturday night, I maybe do something. Um, and I think too that Saturday nights I would definitely make it like movie night. My husband and I would buy DVDs and would sit down and watch them, and would buy like, I don't know, some chips or whatever it was. But as I said, I reached the hospital, and let me tell you, that's where everything just went down the hill. I First thing first, the day that someone was like, "Wow, your blood pressure is high," because by this time now it was 140 over 101, I believe. I think that was where it was. And she gave me, I don't remember the name of the tablet that she gave me to lower my blood pressure immediately. And also, she gave me a Valium. When she gave me the Valium, and it never took effect in the same time. And I remember my dad came up to the hospital and we were there, and I remember that I you know they sent me home and said that I should be monitored. I remember going home and sleeping, and when I woke up, I don't even remember the time I woke up, but I remember the first day or 2 days after. I remember waking up. So this would have been the Sunday. I remember waking up and I felt like, I don't even know what I felt like. I felt like I was out of my body. Like my body felt limp. Like there was nothing I could do with my arms. And I just felt like dizzy. I felt drowsy. I felt sleepy. I felt really sick. And I was saying to my husband, I think something is wrong with me. I don't like how I feel. And he called the hospital, and then they told him, oh, I'd taken like a sleeping pill. And they were like, oh, but we gave her Valium, so we have to wait until it wear off. And I was just like, I felt miserable. Like that was my first and only time that I took Valium. But that Valium and that medication stayed in my system for maybe about a week or so. And I think the Monday I called in sick, and my husband stayed with me that day. The Tuesday I called in sick, but I think I stayed over my mom, if memory serves me correctly. And from there, I just fell into a deep depression. Like nothing felt the same after that. Nothing felt the same. So, um, stick around. I'm going to give you part two of that. So, yeah, next week I'll give you part two. Like, I don't think I can manage like the rest of it because we're going to go a bit deeper into what took place after that. And of course, we won't end this week without having our small business shout out. Yes, we have decorative windows today, and I have tagged them to this post on Instagram, and also I have shared one of their promo videos. So if you have a neighbor them fast, or you have a window like a bathroom window, or even what you call those again, your bathroom doors, slide doors, and you want to maintain privacy, let them hook you up. They have the good things them, different what you call it, different design. Trust me, they really look good. Check out their page. Trust me, it's a booming business, and the quality of service and product, the thing turn up. So check them out, link them. Summer come to, come on. We all know where work from home, privacy is definitely key. So check them out, and I will see you again next week for part two of how I mentally die and God brought me